What's up everyone, this is Josh with the GoKaioken channel, and today we're going to be doing a rear differential rebuild using part number 7782. So I've been getting a ticking from what I thought was the front of the X-Maxx. It's actually the rear. Whenever I was steering the truck and applying throttle, I would hear a ticking noise. Here recently, I took the cover and the differential apart, and it was very black and had a very tiny metal flakes in it. So I knew that the weakest part of the drivetrain, the inside of the differential, was starting to wear apart. So let's go ahead and get that opened up, and I'll be able to show you guys exactly how to do that if you wanted to do this with your X-Maxx. All right, so we've got the X-Maxx turned forward so you guys can see. I'm going to start with the bumper and the wheelie bar. And before we do that, we'll have to flip the truck over. Take off the rear skid plate. So the screws are removed from the rear skid plate. Then we're going to get the two screws at the bottom of the bumper brace. Rear skid plate will come off. Then we can move the bumper. So now the bumper's out of the way. And we can just remove the wheelie bar. Now for the rear diff cover, just have to do the one on the bottom, and then there are 4 screws along the outside, and this cover should come right off. There we go. So there's the rear diff, exactly how it comes out of the truck. Gears on the left side. All right, so I grabbed some gloves just to keep my hands clean from this mess. On the back side of the larger gear, we've got 4 screws that we need to take off. Take the rest of it off with the power tool. All right, now we can take this apart. All right. I'm sure you guys can see how black this has gotten. And then, I don't know if I'm going to be able to show. You guys might be able to see the reflection. Little tiny flakes. Inside this oil. All right, so you have to be mindful of this gasket here. Make sure that that stays seated properly. What we're gonna do though is grab a pair of needle nose pliers so that we can get those gears out from that middle section. All right, got all 4 gears out. Then the other piece is this gear here. Need to go to the back side, down in here. There. While holding that, we can remove that screw that holds that gear in place. That pops off there. There. So you guys see how that came off? This through there, and then pushed this gear out that side. Carefully remove the gasket. We don't want to tear it or anything. There we go. Just kind of roll that down. And you guys might be able to see it's a teeny tiny shim there. The new one comes with it, so we're not going to worry too much about getting the shim off of that one. Let's go ahead and open this up. Okay. So here's this replacement gear. Take this gasket off of here. We're going to discard of the shim and that gear. Just put the new gasket on. Shim's already on. You guys can see that moving around. So I'll just place that back in through the top. That drops down into place. Pushes down. Make sure your bearing stays on. If you wanted to at this time replace the bearing as well, I'm not going to do that. This gear just falls back into place, and then you've got the screw that holds that on. Drop that down. And then just hand tighten this, of course. There. There's that side. So we have our other gear sitting there. The other side of the gear should come off same exact way. Screw down inside here. So that screws out. This pulls out. We're going to use this to push the gear out. See, this one's really covered in oil. I know I was trying to keep my hands clean by using gloves, but it didn't really work out. That's okay. Get this gasket off. Set that old one aside. Move that aside as well. Okay. Grab our new one with our shim. You guys can see that there. New gasket on. I'm going to set that back down into place. May have to maneuver it. There we go. Connect that back on. Drop the screw down. And use this to get it lined back up. I'm looking at this shaft here. You can actually see where this may be a part that I consider replacing. It's interesting. Okay, so both sides of that is complete. So this housing here, it's got 4 square slots where these gears will actually slide down into. So we just got to make sure when we put this back together that we're putting that back in the right way. So this pack also comes with 4 new gears that go on the outside. These are set into place by a slot in the 2 rods that connect them all together. So you guys can see there's a slot in the middle of that shaft. It's the same on the other one. They connect together just like that. So what we're going to do is just pull the gear and that metal square slot, that square piece that I was talking about. Pull that off. New gear on. And the metal square behind it. Same thing with the other side. There's the old gear, square back. New one. Slide that on, and then the square back. Okay, we're gonna see how these can slide forward like that. We want to try to keep them pushed back. So there's one half. Here's the other half. Take one side off. Drop that down. new gear, square back, other side, new gear, square back. Like I mentioned, there's a slot on both of them, so these fit together where those slots are. So just grab one, make sure that this square is lined up vertically up and down on both sides, and then line it up with those slots. Okay, there's that side, and then now we can do the other side. We just gotta make sure that that middle shaft is turned so that it drops down right on top of that other one. There. Just give it a turn, and there we go. Perfect. So, of course, before we close this up, I have to fill it back up with oil. I've got 50,000 weight diff fluid I'm gonna fill this up with. All right, so I grabbed some gloves, washed my hands, and now I've got this diff fluid. Now, I just wanna mention something. You could totally go all out with this and get all the old fluid out, clean it up, you know, get the new stuff, which is what I have, and fill it back up. To me, it's just not worth that time. If you wanted to do all of that, you might as well just buy a brand new diff, because it's gonna have brand new diff fluid, all brand new internals. 65 bucks is what I've seen online for it. This rebuild kit was only 20 bucks. So if you're gonna do the rebuild kit, you know, do you really want to go through the hassle of taking all the old fluid out and making sure it's clean? If you're going to go that far, as far as your time spent, you might as well just spend $45 more or $40 more and just have a brand new diff as well, which will come with brand new outer gear. So anyways, that's just my 2 cents. Also, one more disclaimer. This is the first time that I'm rebuilding the rear diff. So I'm learning as I go, but I'm taking you guys along. So if you're hesitant about opening your rear differential, then you can watch this video, see exactly what I did. And if it works for me, then it should work for you. So anyways, I'm just gonna fill this up as much as I can. I'm gonna give it a couple turns, especially since we, you know, replaced those 2 outer gears as well. I want to make sure that they get plenty of grease. All right. And then, of course, fill it up the rest of the way. All right. Once we push this other side on, it'll really kind of smash it down. All right, perfect. So now we're gonna get this side on, just kind of line up the 4 holes. You wanna make sure the gasket around the outside is seated well. While it is pushed together, I'm just gonna move this around. I will say it sounds much, much better from before whenever I took this out and spun it. Huge difference. We're gonna get our 4 screws, drop them in. All right, there we go. So again, kind of looking at that metal piece that just slightly bent. I'm sure it's totally fine. It looks like there's actually the same thing going on the other side. If I want to replace those, I definitely can. Yeah, and that sounds really good. I'm gonna move the camera, show you guys putting everything back in. Just gotta put the rear axles back on. And this has still got plenty of marine grease there and here, so I'm not gonna worry about putting any more on. I'm gonna put this cover on, try to get it down below there, and then that should be perfect. I'll take this glove off, and now we can go back to putting this together. So again, I've got it on the lowest setting. All right, perfect. Wheelie bar back on, bumper. And we'll grab the 2 screws for that. Goes through the side. I'm just gonna flip this over. Put the rear skid plate back on. I'll flip it back over. And we just gotta put the bumper brace back on. All right, and we're finished. So let's go ahead and just flip this over real quick, just to take a listen to that rear. That's perfect. Oh yeah. Super smooth. I'm not going to be able to run it today, but that is how you do a rebuild on the rear differential or the front differential. It's the same thing on the X-Maxx. Now, again, if you want to do it the proper way, with cleaning out the interior, replacing all the bearings, completely cleaning the old diff lube out of it, you might as well just buy a new diff. All right, $65 versus 20 bucks. This is a cheaper alternative to completely replacing the rear diff. So hopefully this video was helpful. If it was, please leave a like, subscribe for more content like this. And until next time, you guys take care.